ছাত্রছাত্রীরাও ভীষণভাবে উপকৃত হবে বলে আমি মনে করি। এবং আমাদের সোসাইটি ফিনান্স বিল নিয়ে, এটা ফেব্রুয়ারি মাস আমরা সবাই জানি। আর ফেব্রুয়ারি মাস যে কিসের মাস আমরা সবাই জানি, যে দেশের অর্থনীতি কোন দিকে যেতে চলেছে, কিভাবে আমাদের আগামী বছর আমরা আমাদের আয় ব্যয়টাকে দেখব, দেশের আয়, ব্যক্তিগত আয় আমরা দেখব, সেটাই ফেব্রুয়ারি মাস ইঙ্গিত দেয়, আমরা সবাই জানি। যদিও আগেকার দিনের বাজেট এখনকার বাজেটের মধ্যে আমি দেখি যে কোয়ালিটেটিভ অনেকটা পার্থক্য হয়ে গেছে। আমাদের এক্সপার্ট, খুব যোগ্য এক্সপার্ট প্রফেসর সুভায়ন বাসু আছেন, উনি আরো ডিটেলসে বলবেন। আমার যেন মনে হয় আগে আগে আমরা, বা জাস্ট 10-15 বছর যদি আমরা পিছিয়ে যাই, আমরা দেখেছি যে ফেব্রুয়ারি মাসে কোনো একটা জিনিসের দাম বাড়লো, মানে কাস্টম ডিউটি বা ইম্পোর্ট ডিউটি ইত্যাদি বাড়লো, তার মানে অন্তত 1 বছর আমরা নিশ্চিত যে আর সেটা বাড়বে না বা আর সেটা কমবে না। কিন্তু আমরা এখন একটু কেমন যেন দেখি যে ফেব্রুয়ারি মাসে ফাইন্যান্স বিল পেশ করা হয়েছে, ফেব্রুয়ারি মাস শেষ হওয়ার আগেই দেখা যাবে যে যেটা বাজেটে বলেছিলাম তার উল্টো কাজ করে বসে আছি। যেমন আমরা কৃষিক্ষেত্রে এত টাকা আমরা কৃষি লোন আমরা দেবো বা এত ভর্তুকি দেবো, একটা বাজেটে ঠিক করে রাখলাম, কি জানি যখন বাজেট তৈরি করে তখনই নেতারা ঠিক করে রাখেন কিনা যে আমরা 1 মাস পরে আবার ওটাকে ঠিকঠাক উল্টে দেবো। তা সেরকমই হয়। সুতরাং পুরোপুরি ইঙ্গিত দেয় এখনকার বাজেট, এই কথা আমি বলবো না। এটা আরো ভালো হোক, এটা আমরা সবাই চাই। এটা একদিক। আর দ্বিতীয় দিক হচ্ছে যে আমরা জানি যে কোনো একটা জিনিসের দাম বাড়ে, কোনো একটা জিনিসের দাম কমে। 2023-এর যে বিল, সেখানে আমরা দেখেছি 5-6টা জিনিসের দাম বাড়ছে, 5-6টা জিনিসের দাম কমছে। কিন্তু কেন যে ওই 5-6টা জিনিসের দাম বাড়ানো হচ্ছে, কেন যে ওই 5-6টা জিনিসের দাম কমানো হচ্ছে, আরো তো অনেক অনেক জিনিস আছে, কেন এরকম পিক অ্যান্ড চুজ করে 5-6টা জিনিসকে নিয়ে নেওয়া হলো, তার পিছনে কি কারণ থাকতে পারে আমাদের সাধারণ মানুষের মাথায় আদৌ ঢুকছে না। কেন আমরা হীরার দামকে আমরা কমিয়ে দিয়ে সোনার দামকে বাড়িয়ে দিলাম, এর এর এ আমাদের মাথার মধ্যে ঢুকছে না। কিন্তু একটা করা হলো, যেন করতে হয় 5টা জিনিসের দাম বাড়াতে হয়, 5টা জিনিসের দাম কমাতে হয়, তাই কমালাম, এরকম একটা যেন ধারণা, তার কোনো ব্যাখ্যা বা কিছু আছে বলে আমার মনে হয়নি। এটা গেল দ্বিতীয়। তৃতীয় জিনিস আমি লক্ষ্য করেছি যে কতগুলো জিনিস শুধু ভাষার জাগলারি করা হয়েছে, মানে যেন মনে হচ্ছে নতুন একটা স্কিম দেওয়া হচ্ছে, কিন্তু আসলে ওটা পুরনো স্কিম ছিল, তার শুধু নামটাকেই চেঞ্জ করা হয়েছে, এটা আমরা লক্ষ্য করেছি। তারপরে ট্যাক্সে আমরা দেখেছি, যেটা ট্যাক্স আমাদের সুহান বাসু খুব ডিটেলসে বলবে, যে ট্যাক্সে একটা বিরাট ছাড় দেওয়া হয়েছে, এরকম একটা বলা হচ্ছে, কিন্তু মূলত সেটা যেটা নতুন ট্যাক্স সিস্টেম, সেখানেই ছাড়ের যা কিছু ব্যবস্থাগুলো আছে। আর আমরা যারা দীর্ঘদিনের চাকরিজীবী, আমরা বিভিন্ন জায়গায় টাকা পয়সা জমিয়েছি, সেই জমার যে ছাড়গুলো, সেগুলো ওই নতুন ট্যাক্স সিস্টেমে বাদ যায় না, সবাই জানেন। কিন্তু আমরা যারা এতদিন ধরে ছাড় পেয়ে এসেছি, ধরুন আমরা 20 বছরের একটা হাউস বিল্ডিং লোন নিয়েছি, তার একটা ছাড় আমরা পাই, আমরা একটা এলআইসি প্রিমিয়াম দিই, তার একটা ছাড় পাই। তা হঠাৎ করে আমরা পুরোনো সিস্টেম থেকে নতুন সিস্টেমে চলে যেতে পারছি না। তা নতুন সিস্টেমে যদি চলে যেতে না পারি, তাহলে নতুন সিস্টেমের কি ছাড় দিল কি ছাড় দিল না, তাতে আমাদের কি আসে যায়। তা এইরকম অনেক প্রশ্ন এর মধ্যে আছে। সে সম্বন্ধে আমাদের যোগ্য ব্যক্তি, যেটা আমাদের ইয়াং ফেলোরা করেছে, আমাদের খুব যোগ্য ব্যক্তিকে ফাইন্যান্স বিল আলোচনার জন্য আমরা আজ রেখেছি। জাস্ট দু একটা কথা এই বিষয়ে আমি বললাম। এরকম আলোচনা আরো চলুক, এই আশা করি। তা আমরা আমাদের আজকের যে টক অফ দি মান্থ তা শুরু করছি, ফর্মালি শুরু করছি। সুভায়ন বাসুকে, প্রফেসর সুভায়ন বাসুকে স্বাগত জানিয়ে শুরু করছি। লোপামুদ্রা আছে
থ্যাংক ইউ
তো?
স্যার।
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার।
Yeah.
সো তাহলে আমরা আমাদের সোসাইটি, কলকাতা বিধাননগর সোসাইটি পারমিশন নিয়ে স্যার বলছি, রেসপেক্টেড প্রেসিডেন্ট স্যার, কলকাতা বিধাননগর সোসাইটি ফর একাডেমিক অ্যাডভান্সমেন্ট এই প্রথমবার আমরা টক অফ দ্য মান্থ সিরিজ, আমাদের প্রেসিডেন্ট স্যার বলেছেন, টক অফ দ্য মান্থ সিরিজ অন ফাইন্যান্স বিল 2023 শুরু করছি। আমাদের আজকের ইনভাইটেড স্পিকার আছেন সুবায়ন স্যার, উনি হলেন অ্যাসোসিয়েট প্রফেসর, ডিপার্টমেন্ট অফ কমার্স, রামমোহন কলেজ, কলকাতা, অ্যাজ ওয়েল এজ গেস্ট ফ্যাকাল্টি, ডিপার্টমেন্ট অফ কমার্স, ইউনিভার্সিটি অফ ক্যালকাটা। আর আজকের যে সেশন আছে সে চেয়ার করবেন আমাদের প্রফেসর ডক্টর দীপ্তি কুমার চক্রবর্তী, former professor and head, Department of Commerce, University of Calcutta, and as well as our respected Honorable President, Kolkata Bidhannagar Society for Academic Advancement. So I am just handovering the charge to Lopamudra for the introduction of our respected resource person, Professor
Mm,
Subhayan
Thank,
Basu.
thank you, sir. It is my great honor to introduce before all our speaker for today, C.A. Subhayan Basu, sir. She is C.A. Subhayan Basu, presently working as an associate professor in the Department of Commerce, Ananda Mohan College, Kolkata, and guest faculty in the Department of Commerce, University of Calcutta, and PG Department of St. Xavier's College, Kolkata. He did his BCom honors from St. Xavier's College, Kolkata, and MCom and MPhil from the University of Calcutta. He is an associate member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and the Institute of Cost Accountants of India as well. He is also a member in the Undergraduate Board of Studies in Commerce, University of Calcutta. So I would now request sir to please take over the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you, Lopamudra. Thank you, Diptida. Thank you, Rama. Uh, my presentation will be on Finance Bill 2023. So it's not the budget. Basically, I will highlight on the Finance Bill. Finance Bill comprises direct tax and indirect tax, and I will limit myself to the direct taxes only. So that is the first limitation of my lecture. At the outset, I must thank KBSA for giving me an opportunity to speak before these gatherings. Now, Finance Bill, now it has got 122 amendments. Just think it of. So it's not possible to discuss all the 122 amendments. What I will do, I will go by the act. I'll just follow the act blindly. That means the way the act is written, the sections are written, I will go by that. I know that some of the things are very critical, which is very complex and which might not be interested, but get interest by the general people. But still, when I am to speak on the budget, I'll have to speak on that, and I will raise certain issues. Because our president has already raised some issues which I will answer. Definitely, I will answer because he raised a lot of questions. It is my duty to answer. I will answer when I will move into that particular area. So now with this, I move. And at the outset, I also thank my student Ronak, who prepared the PPT, because I told that I will speak extempore, but they said, no, sir, there will be PPT. So Ronak, will you please start the PPT?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. Because he said, sir, let them see certain things. So it is better you prepare some PPT, and all the PPTs are prepared by the Ronak. So kudos to him. So move on. I haven't seen it earlier. Good. Move on. Next. Right. I start with the exemptions. Now, first exemption is definitely hit every one of us. It's a very, very interesting one, section 1010D, which talks of when you receive money on maturity of your life insurance policy, it is fully exempted. You are not supposed to pay any taxes on that. Right? This is the common provision. And if you remember, when the direct tax code came in 2009, this concept is called EEE, exempt. That means when you are investing, you are getting exemption under 80C. Any income accrues out of it, it's fully exempted. And when you receive it, it is exempted from tax. So the concept is called EEE. Now in 2009, they first time mooted the idea of EET. That means when you invest, exempted, income accrued, exempted, but when you receive it, will be taxable. But due to some hue and cry, so they haven't made the things. But now they are slowly moving into that. If you remember in budget 2021, they have already started it. It's not this year. In 2000, if you go through the budget in 2021, they started it only for the ULIP, unit linked insurance premium. What they said? They said if your premium is more than 250, then on that excess, when you receive from the life insurance policy, it will be fully taxable. Now what they did, they have introduced for the general policies also. That means if you now taking a policy on or after 1/4/2023, so if you do earlier to that, it will not affect you. But once after 1/4/2023, and if your premium is, mind it, the figure is hefty, if your total premium is 5 lakhs, exceeding 5 lakhs, then when you receive the amount, that will be taxable. you have to pay tax on that. And how you will pay tax on that? So I read with section 56. 56 talks of income from other sources. So these, whatever amount you receive, that will be taxed under income from other sources. But once again, I am telling the policy figure, premium figure is not the policy value. Please don't get confused. It's not the policy value, it is the premium paid. If you pay premium which exceed 5 lakhs, more than, and you may raise a question, just say if I have 4 or 5 policies, okay, if you add up and if that exceed 5 lakhs, then whenever you receive the amount, you are got to pay tax on that, but not the earlier one. Please, if you do have any policy, don't get annoyed. That is not affected by this. That is fully tax free. But 1 for 23, after that, if you do that, then you have to pay taxes. This is a very major changes, which I think somewhere, I'm not very sure, I'm raising these issues. Somewhere the high value premium of insurance which taken by the, now then there are certain technical terms are coming, HNI, high net worth investors, HNIs. So now they might not be interested in taking the policies, right? Because they know if their premium is more than 5 lakhs, then whenever they receive the amount, that will be taxable. So I'm not very sure. So that might affect the life insurance business in a negative way. And next one is a 1023C. NP means it's a new provision. Ognivir Corpus Fund. Now this year government has mooting a new concept called Ognipath scheme. What is the Ognipath scheme? Ognipath scheme is the Indian Armed Force. If you join the Indian Armed Force, then you are under Ognipath scheme. Now, what is the Ognipath scheme? Take a very simple thing. It is nothing but your like NPS, National Pension Scheme. It is similar to that. And the way whenever they said that means some amount has been deducted from the salary of this, and these people are called Agnibir. Those who are doing a Agnipath scheme, those who are technically join the army and under Agnipath scheme, they will call Agnibir. So whenever you pay to these Agnibirs, so a certain portion, 10% or maybe 14%, scheme is not being given in detail. So I'm taking an example. So say 10% will be deducted from his or her salary. The government will contribute the same amount, then that will be invested, and then whenever they will retire after 4 years, it's a short commission. After 4 years, when they retire, they will get their money. Now 1023C means whenever you are receiving from the Agnivir Corpus Fund, it is something like NPS. Take it in a simple way. It is something like NPS. Then it is not taxable. It is fully exempted under section 1023C, right? And there is another 10 double. I'm not going into that because these are very technical one. Next one. Now salaries. Now in case of salaries, I wish to give two things. One is accommodation at a concessional rate. It's a very interesting changes, because if you remember, whenever we value the accommodation, there are two types of valuation. One is rent-free accommodation, one is accommodation at concessional rate. And there is a valuation principles under Rule 3. We know that 7.5%, 10%, 15% for the rent-free. But technically, there is no rule for the concessional rate, right? So now they are making new rules. So it's coming. It's not, the government is saying they are making a new rule for valuation of accommodation at concessional rate. So whatever you read for the last 10 to 15 years, and for me, it is almost, I'm in the profession in 1983, so almost 37 or 38 years. So now we have to forget it, and the new rules are coming for the valuation of concessional rate. Another interesting thing is leave encashment. I think our president might be very interested on that. It's a big change. They said if you are a non-government employee, mind it is not for the government employees. For the non-government employees, we know under section 10AA, the limit was 3 lakhs. Now that limit has been increased to 25 lakhs. That means up to 25 lakhs, you are not supposed to pay any taxes, right? Now one may raise a valid question. Most of us in a college, which is aided by the state government, Now you may say, so then what is our status? Are we government employees? Because the rule for government employees are very simple. That entire leave encashment is tax free. And for the non-government, the limit was 3 lakhs. Now it has been raised to 25 lakhs. Now the question is, you may raise a question, yes, sir, where do we belong? Are we government employees or are we private employees? Technically, we are neither government employees and we are neither private sector employees. Then what is our status? I'm just quoting one case law. I know that this is a technical one, but you must learn that Ram Kumar Ram versus ITO in 2016. In that case, it has been specifically stated that the employees of a state university or central university or colleges affiliated to those universities will be treated as government employees. And hence, the entire amount is tax free. Right? Next one. This might not interest you, but I think some of my students and some of are interested in knowing that. I choose 3 sections. One is section 43B. What is 43B talks of? 43B basically talks of the expenditure allowable on payment basis, because this is contrasting to mercantile system. You know that we have mercantile system and the cash system. So although the things as a mercantile system, because entire business and professional mercantile system, but this is an exception where some of the expenses which is only allowed if you pay within a specified time, right? There are several items, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 items. Now they have included one more. What is that? You are all aware of the MSME, right? Medium, small and micro enterprises. Now they said any payment to the micro and small, please, medium is not there. Be careful about that. Any payment to micro or small firms has to be paid within the time. What is the time? That is the furnishing of the return under section 139(1). As simple as that. That means for us, I'm taking our case 31st July, right? So you have to pay them. If you don't pay, you won't get the deduction. I think that is a very good one for the MSME sectors, because now you might be interested that unless I pay, I won't get the deduction, so it is better I should pay. Next one is true presumptive taxation. Now, basically, what is the presumptive taxation? Presumptive taxation means when I'm presuming that this will be your income, right? This is not a normal one. Normal one is what? Actual, whatever you want, you are adding those things. But presumptive taxation in case of business, not based on your actual net profit. It is on the presumption. And what is that presumption? 44 AD for business and 44 AD for profession, right? I'm not going into that. What happened? What changes are made? In case of 44 AD, there was a threshold limit. That means your gross receipt must not exceed 2 crore. If it is exceed 2 crore, then you can't take the 44 AD. Now they have increased this limit to 3 crores. And in case of profession, 44 ADA, the limit was 50 lakhs. Now that has been enhanced to 75 lakhs. I think that will give some benefit to those people, so that they can take the benefit of the presumptive taxation, where the tax rate is a small lower. In case of AD, it is 8% and 6% depends on certain parameters. Okay, so I think this some way get beneficial. Next one, I think this is one head where a lot of changes are being made, and we should aware of that, because some of the changes affect us adversely, very adversely. First one is 45(5)(a). A lot of us, we are given our building to the promoters, and they have make a multi-storied building, and I am being given maybe 1 or 2 flat. But the question is, whenever we are doing that, at that instant time, there arise a capital gain. Why capital gain? Because you are transferring your building or your land, not that building only, your land or both land and building to a person, right? So there is a capital gain. Definitely there is a capital gain. So now what the changes they made, the capital gain means the formula is very simple. Sale value Suppose I am selling an asset for 100, so sell value minus my cost of acquisition. I am not indexing. Say my cost of acquisition is say 80, so 100 minus 80, 20 is my capital gain. Fine. So now what changes made in 45(5)(a) or promoting means here, what is the sell value? Sell value is the, because technically it is not the sell, because I am not selling to someone else for a money. It's not that I am selling it for say 80 lakhs or 1 crore. It's simply I am giving it to a promoter, and promoter on in turn give me say 1 or 2 flats plus certain cash, blah blah blah. Right? So now, what is, when you compute the capital gain, what is the sell value? Sell value is the stamp duty value of the flat which is given to you. Right? Say I'm given one flat of 1200 square feet and its stamp duty value is 50 lakhs. So now 50 lakhs to be taken as the sell price. And the earlier one, 45(5)(a), when it was enacted, it was like that. So plus any cash given, because sometimes they are also providing some cash. Suppose they say give me 20 lakhs cash. So 50 lakhs is the stamp duty value plus 20 lakhs cash I receive from the promoter. So 70 lakhs is my sell value. Now what the changes they made, earlier one, I think that was a really there was problem. They wrote only cash, but now they have changed it. Now they said no, it is cash, check or draft. Whatever way you get the money, it should be added and you have to pay the capital gain tax on that, right? Some time, if I get a time, not today, sometime I will talk of a personal tax planning where I can discuss these tax implications separately, because this needs a lot of time if I go into very detail of it. Now secondly, section 48, mode of computation of capital gain. What I talked of mode of computation is what? Sale price 100, cost of acquisition 80, capital gain is 20, right? So you know that there are two types of capital gain, long term and short term. So if it depends on the holding period, or how much period you hold. It might be 12 months or 24 months or 36 months, right? So now, in case of long-term capital gain, it will be indexed. In case of short-term capital gain, there is no question of indexation. Now, they made a very interesting changes in 48. I think it creates a lot of issues. At least to me, it creates some issues. But they said, suppose you sell a building, right? What is the cost of acquisition? It is the price at which you purchase the building. Suppose you purchase a building by taking a loan, so you pay interest on that. So your total cost of acquisition is the price you pay plus the interest you pay for taking the loan. In that way, technically the people are computing the cost of acquisition. So it is the cost price plus the interest which you paid on the loan which you taken for purchase of the house, right? Now what they say, it's interesting. They say, since you are getting deduction for the loan, because when you take a loan for house property, you are getting deduction under section 24 subsection B, right? When you compute income from house property, right? Or 80 EEA, new sections coming for last 2 years, 80 EE or EEA. Now they said you cannot take it as a part of your cost of acquisition. It is only the price at which you have purchased the building. You can't capitalize the interest. You can't add interest to that. Apparently, you may say, sir, it is correct, sir. You are getting a deduction, then why you will get? But I have an issue. What is that? Suppose I took a loan for house property, self-occupied house property. And in case of self-occupied house property, my limit is 2 lakhs, right? And suppose I took a huge loan and I'm paying interest of say 3,50,000. But I'm not getting the benefit for 3,50,000. I'm getting only for 2,50,000. Sorry, only for 2 lakh. But now when you are not allowing me to capitalize, I lose the 1,50,000 difference. Now that is the I pay, but I couldn't get the benefit because the provision states it is restricted to 2 lakhs. You can't get 3,50,000, and I cannot add it to the cost of asset when I'm selling the building. So I think this is an issue. They have to think it of. What about the interest which is not being enjoyed by me due to the provisions of the Income Tax Act? Then there is another new section they have added, 50AA, which is called capital gain on market linked debentures. So they are technically certain things. This market linked debentures, it is traded, it has got some value, and they said if you sell the market linked debentures, it will have a capital gain, right? When it is capital gain, suppose on if I sell it, definitely capital gain. But if they redeem it, because the company might redeem it after a certain period of time, then redemption is also a transfer. Transfer also include redemption. So in that case, you got to pay capital gain tax, right? This is a new concept, a new section coming for the first time, 50 AA on market linked debenture. Now section 54. This is a huge, I think it will hit the common man. What is 54? 54 is an exemption. What is that? Suppose I sell a building and I make a capital gain of 30 lakhs. If I purchase a new building for 30 lakhs or more, then entire capital gain, I can get a deduction. This is an exemption under 54. So I am not supposed to pay any capital gain. But now what they said, now they make a cap. The cap is huge, I agree, 10 crores. That means if you purchase a building which is more than 10 crores, then your cost of acquisition should be taken as 10 crores. Am I clear? Suppose I'm giving an example. Suppose I sell a building. If I say I can't dream it off. So if someone sell building and make a capital gain of 15 crore, right? Earlier one, if you purchase a building for 15 crore, then entire 15 crore is allowed as long term. It must be long term capital gain. Please, I'm sorry. It must be long term capital gain. That means you are holding for a landed building is 24 months. If you hold for 24 months, it's a long term capital gain, right? Now what happens? Even if you purchase for 15 crore, it should be taken as 10 crores. That means 15 crores minus 10 crores, 5 crores is your long term capital gain on which you got to pay tax. Although I don't conceive that this will hit the general people, because I don't think that we will able to purchase a house for 10 crores or more, but still. And there is one issue. I'm raising another issue, which is to me is another interesting point. And there is a provision that if you sell the new asset within 3 years, then what happened? Then the cost of acquisition, the entire capital gain will be deducted. Whatever the capital gain you have, that should be deducted, and the balance is taxable, right? Now the question is, when I purchase a house for 15 crore, I have to take the cost of acquisition only as 10 crore. I think there should be some changes. I know some chartered accountants, because I attend one at the first meeting of our institute, and they have already sent this rejoinder. There should be a corresponding changes in that way. Otherwise, I am affecting in two ways. I have to pay capital gain tax on sale of the building, and if I sell within 3 years the new asset, then once again I have to pay more tax. So that is one point. But for us, if it is not 10 crores, nothing will happen. You forget about that. 54 will be 54. No problem to that. Then they have certain sections they omitted. I'm not going into those sections. I will take only one section, which is a very important section for all of us, 54EC. 54EC is a very common tool for tax planning. What is 54EC? 54EC means suppose you have a long-term capital gain, but you can't purchase a house because you don't need a house, right? Because you have already 2 houses. If you purchase more than 2, so you won't get it. So you are not purchasing a house. So in that case, you have to pay the capital gain. They said no. Under 54EC, if you purchase certain specified bonds up to rupees 50 lakhs, there is a cap of 50 lakhs, then that will be deducted from the long-term capital gain, and you need not have to pay any taxes. Now, this is, I don't know what is the logic, because I read this memorandum, but I am not getting the logic. Why they have taken off 54EC? 54EC is a very handy section. I don't say is, I should say was a very handy section. But now they have totally omitted 54EC also. And finally the 54F. Once again, it is another tool in the hands of us. And the 54A talks of what? 54F talks of, suppose you are selling any capital asset other than building. Suppose you sell your gold, you sell your ornaments, you sell your shares, and you make some capital gain. And if you purchase a house, then that is exempted. That capital gain, from that you can get exemption under 54F, then you need not have to pay any taxes. Now in case of 54F, also what they did, they make a cap of 10 crores, like 54. That means if it is more than 10 crores, if you purchase a house for more than 10 crores, then that will not be considered, it will be considered up to 10 crores. And here the logic is given. I think the logic was not that bad. The government said that it has been found that a lot of people means the rich people, 10 crores, the figure tells the status of those people. They are purchasing building under huge cost. Because suppose they have suppose Mr. X sell a building and they make up, say, a capital gain of 2 crore. That means he can purchase a building for 2 crore. But government said they are purchasing huge property, say property for say 30 crore. So they said, practically this is not fair. You are financing a part of your building out of your capital gain. So in order to cap those, they make a cap of 10 crore. Up to 10 crore, there is no problem. Once it exceeds 10 crore, you won't get it. It should be taken as 10 crore. Next one, better. Deductions and rebate. These are our own thing. I will start you a new section 80 CCH. I talked of Agniveer Corpus Fund. Now, when you contribute exactly like your NPS, I always think that everything should be discussed, everything should be remembered in a more simple way. We are familiar with NPS, so take this Agnipath scheme as a simple NPS. And whatever in NPS, in 80 CCD, you know the 80 CCD, it is the same 80 CCH, that your contribution and contribution of the government will be allowed under section 80 HHC, right? 80 IAC is the startup taxation. Now it was supposed to end on 31st 2023. That has been extended by another year, that is 2024. And 80G. 80G is a very interesting one. If you see the 80G, I'm not very sure about the logic. There are 3 funds which bears the name, because others are, there is no name, like Prime Minister Fund, National Children Fund, so no names are there. Only 3 funds. I'm just going through the act meticulously to get the logic of it. There are 3 funds, but they are not naming the funds, they are just naming the subsections. And I take it from the act. That is the Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund, Indira Gandhi Memorial Trust, and Rajiv Foundation. And they have omitted these 3. These 3 which having the name, they have omitted these 3. So I think from next year, these funds will not be there. Technically, I don't know what will happen, but this will be omitted. Now the 87A, which is a very healthy one for our money, small taxpayers. 87 is a rebate. Now here is a very interesting feature, that 87A, I think presidents are already talked of, the old regime, new regime. Now what is interesting is 87A, the changes, it is only applicable for the new regime. If I am in the old regime, there is no changes. And what is the present provision? They said if your total income is up to 5 lakhs, you need not have to pay any taxes, because the actual amount of taxes are 12,500, whichever is less, you will get a deduction. So just to think, it's a very simple calculation. And then old regime 250 is nil, 250 to 5 lakhs is 5%. So 250 to 5 lakh is 250, 5% is 12,500. So 12,500 minus 12,500 is nil. So you are not supposed to pay any taxes, right? That doesn't mean, please, because these newspapers and these news channels, they say that exemption limit raised to 7 lakhs. No, not at all. That is not at all true. That is not at all true. Now what they say, now they have increased this to 7 lakhs. They say taxes payable or 25,000, whichever is less is deductible. But once again, it is only for the new regime. Who will get the benefit? Whose income is up to 7 lakh. Once you cross 7 lakh, then this is not applicable. I can show you an example. It's a very interesting example. Suppose under new regime, because now whatever, if I wish to talk about the changes in the rebate, I'll have to talk about the new regime. Suppose your income is 7,02,000, just increased by 2,000. Do you know how much tax you have to pay? You have to pay tax of 25,200. I can show you through calculation. 3 lakh to 6 lakhs. I will come to that after. Let me talk about this regime, then I will give you. So just if you earn 2,000 more, you have to pay tax of 25,200. It's a very interesting case. This happened also everywhere. Every year it happened like that. But I'm finding this is a very interesting one. If my income is increased only by 2,000, my tax payable will be 25,200. And a person who is earning 7 lakhs paying taxes nil. And I'm earning 2,000 more, so I have to dish out a tax of 25,200. I will explain it. Next one. Now the most interesting part, and please mind it, I will discuss these changes only. I'm not going into the planning, because in case of planning, I take a full time to discuss it separately. But if you raise any question, definitely I will answer it. But don't think that this will be a class on personal tax planning. This is basically my lecture is on the finance bill. So I will only discuss the changes and a small implication of the changes, but not the personal tax planning. If it is a personal tax planning, it has to be discussed separately. Now, old tax regime, that means which is going on, no changes. No changes in the rate of tax, no changes in the surcharge, no changes in the rebate. Nothing changes. Everything remains static. Right? Now, what is the basic difference between the old regime and the new regime? Just think it out. In case of old regime, basic concept is your rate of tax is high, so you pay tax at a higher rate. Number two, you can enjoy all the exemptions and deductions. Right? And in case of new regime, tax rate is lower and you are not allowed to get any benefit of exemptions and deductions, excepting some few. I will come to that. Excepting some few, because some benefits are given in this year. So I will come to that. So this is the basic concept. New regime means pay tax at a lower rate, but you cannot enjoy the exemptions and deductions. So that is the basic concept of the new regime. Next one. New regime, they have changes the tax slabs. Earlier on, you know that there are one more slab. So now they have make one slab less, and what they said, up to 3 lakhs nil, 3 lakh to 6 lakhs 5%, 6 lakhs to 9 lakhs 10, 9 lakh 1 to 12 lakh 15, 12 lakh 1 to 15 lakh 20, above 15 lakhs 30%. Right? And what is the old rate? Up to 2 lakh 50 nil, 2 lakh 50 to 5 lakhs 5%, 5 lakh to 10 lakhs 20%, above 10 lakhs 30%. This is the basic concept. So now, common sense approach that these tax will be much lower. In case of new regime, if you compute, it is much lower. But think it of, you are not getting some benefits. Now, what changes have they made? Plus one more thing, this is very, very interesting. Last year, basic concept was, you have to put your option new. If you don't put, it will be automatically treated as under old regime. Suppose I didn't give anything, whether old or new, I will be treated as under old regime. This year, the paradigm has been shifted. What they said? They said, you have to opt for old regime. If you don't do anything, it will be taken as you are under new regime. So if you wish to go for the old regime, you have to opt for that. Right? Now that become an optional one. This is very important. So the paradigm has been shifted. But they have given some more benefits. What is that? Standard deduction, because in old 115 BSc, I will call it old 115 BSc. In old 115 BSc, you are not supposed to get the standard deduction. You are not supposed to get profession tax, right? You are not supposed to get any deduction under chapter 6 like 80C, 80D, blah, 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 except 80CCD2 and 80JJAA. No benefit you can get. But In the old thing, they have made you 1 plus. That is, they said no, you will get standard deduction, which 50,000. Up to 50,000, you can get a standard deduction. Next one. Surcharge, this is slashed to 25%, but it is not a slashing. What happened, I'm telling, if you go for the old provision, we have a surcharge, because we people are not basically subject to surcharge, so we don't know. Up to 50 lakhs, there was no surcharge. 50 lakhs to 1 crore, 10%, 1 crore to 2 crore, 15%, 2 crore to 5 crore, 25%, above 5 crore, 37%. So an individual whose income exceeds 5 crore has to dish out a surcharge of 37%. So that is called MMR, maximum marginal rate of taxes, right? So what now they said, they have slashed it into 3. Up to 50 lakhs means 50 lakhs to 1 crore is 5%, 10%, 1 crore to 2 crore is 15%, above 2 crore 25%. So there is no 37% now, but once again your income must be crosses that limit. So technically that is not affecting this uh, so it is not affecting us, but for some high value people it is, and plus they have already allowed a deduction of 57 to a, don't go by the jargons, it is simple that if you are earning a family pension, you have a deduction also, 33 1/3% of 15,000, whichever is less. So earlier one it was not allowed, but now they are allowed. So now it is your case to learn whether I go for the new regime or I go for the old regime. Now if you ask me, it's a case to case basis, right? And one important point is, to me, most of the people, I think now they are saying every 2 out of 3 people will go for the new regime. Could have been. But I am just raising one issue which you must consider. Suppose you have a house building loan. In case of house building loan, you are entitled to get 3 benefits. What is that? Whenever you pay interest, you are getting a deduction under section 24 subsection B under house property. And when you pay the principal, you are getting a deduction under 80C. And if you are in a own house, if it is a loss, then you are allowed to set up the loss against your income. So you are having 3 benefits. So if you move into the new regime, you are not allowed to get the 3 benefits. So this is one very important point, because our president sir has raised this issue. I have already said someone is already made a PPF. What shall I do? I am not getting 80C, right? But the question is, you have to compute how much tax is payable under old regime and how much tax is payable under new regime. Then accordingly you do. I think now most of the people, new regime may be beneficial, because if you talk of me personally, last year I opt for old regime, because under old regime I have to pay lower amount of taxes, because I have enjoyed certain deductions, so that is higher than the tax benefit. But now what happened, this rate are also being changed, so the total amount of tax payable will be much lower. But once again I am telling, those who have taking a loan for the house building, you have to think twice or thrice before you are opting for the, whether you will go for the new regime or you go for the old regime. This is very important concept. And if you do have any question, let me finish it and you raise it, I will try to give answer, right? And plus you know that your one of the important component of 80C is LIC, which is also going out, but still LIC premium is 5 lakhs. I don't think people like us pay a premium of 5 lakhs, so it's much lower to that. But still things are not that good for Bright, because ultimately what I think, maybe after 2, 3 or 4 years, we don't have any options for the exemptions and deductions. Whatever you want, you have to pay tax at it. Maybe the rate may be lower. I'm not very sure, but the exemption and deduction will be not there. So I think, President sir, I'll able to answer your question that you have to compute. If I take this 80C or 80D blah blah blah, then how much tax I am supposed to pay? And if I don't take it, I move into the new one. You have to compute the taxes, and then choice is yours. Whichever is lower, you can do that. Okay, so this is the change. I think the whole concept is now government is actually if you go by the history, I should have added. It is not now. In 2017, they started with the company, the corporate taxation. They have introduced 115 BA, right? The rate was 25%. Then during the pandemic, what the government did, the government has introduced through ordinance, not through rule or through ordinance. They have made two sections. They have included two sections, 115 BAA, 115 BAB for the companies, and the rate is 22% and 15%. And the concept is the same. The rate is 15%, but you are not allowed to get a lot of deductions or exemptions. Your rate is 22%, you are not allowed to get a lot of exemptions and deduction. Although for 150 BA and BAB, there is a surcharge of 10%, which is compulsory. So they have started in 2017. It's not today. It's not at all today. From 2017, they have started. They have sowed the seed in 2017 in a small way. They have tested it. Now they have come with, in 2021, 115 BAC. And 115 BAC, now it hits the individual tax regime we call alternate tax regime. This is called alternate tax regime. Now you got to take whichever you are interested, new or old. But once again, I am telling, if you don't opt, automatically it will move into the new regime, not the old earlier one. Earlier one, it was the old, but now it has been shifted to new. So these are the changes, basic changes for the personal taxation. Next one, I think the last slide, miscellaneous one. I just give you the history, because why I quoting the sections, because when you know, when I quote the sections, you know the history, how things are coming. 115 BA, 115 BAA, 115 BAB, 115 BAC for us, 115 BAD for HUF and others. Now they have taken 115 BAE. What is BAE? This is for the new manufacturing cooperative societies. Once again, that new regime, 115 BAE is a new regime, new section. What they talk? They said it is 15%. Your tax rate is only 15%, but the same thing, you are not allowed to get certain deductions or exemptions. And then finally, it's a new one, online games. Now they have taken it. It was earlier was included, but now they have made a new section, online games, 115 BBJ, where they said if you earn from the online games, you are to pay tax at the rate of 30%. And 115 BA, 194 is TDS. And they say in this case there will be TDS, or tax on winning from online games. So if you are winning from the online games, you can, because when I am an old person, I don't do that, but you can do that. So but mind it, if you earn from that, it is subject to 30% tax and there will be TDS. Okay. So I think this is all for the day. All the changes. I don't when I go through the 122. I don't go through the tax management part. There are some changes which is not directly affecting us in that way. This is why this is professionally affected, but for individual, the dates are not changed. That is 31st July. So had it been changed, I would have talked to that. No interest is changing. Advance tax remains the same. The 234A, B, 234C, 234A, these sections, there no changes at that. So I haven't discussed those. Changes are made a lot regarding say 148, section 151. So this is not for us. This is for the professional people. So I must thank you for giving attention to me. And if any question raised by anyone, I'll be very happy to answer it. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, CA
সুভায়ন বাসু, সত্যি কথা বলতে কি, ট্যাক্স জিনিসটা, যারা ট্যাক্স পেয়ার তারাও যেমন ট্যাক্সড হয়, এটা আমরা সবাই জানি। আমরা যারা কমার্সের ছাত্র তারাও ভীষণ ট্যাক্সড হয় এই ট্যাক্স সাবজেক্টটার বিভিন্ন কচকচানির জন্য। এমন ইম্পোজ, ডিডাকশন, এক্সেমশন, এ মানে বুঝতে কোনটা ডিডাকশন কোনটা এক্সেমশন, কেন এটা আসছে কেন ওটা যাচ্ছে। ছাত্ররাও ট্যাক্সড হয়, আর আমরা যারা ট্যাক্স পেয়ার তারা তো ট্যাক্সড হই। কিন্তু সেই ছাত্ররা ট্যাক্সড তখনই হয় না যখন শিক্ষকরা ট্যাক্সটাকে এত লুসিড ওয়েতে, এত সহজভাবে তাদের মাথায় ঢোকাতে পারে। সেটা যে শুভায়ন পারে সেটা অনেক দিন থেকে প্রমাণিত। আজকে আমরা আরেকবার দেখলাম যে এত জটিল একটা সাবজেক্ট এত সুন্দরভাবে, এত যেন সাহিত্যের মতো করে আমাদের সবার সামনে তুলে ধরলো, এবং সত্যি আমরা খুবই উপকৃত হলাম এ ব্যাপারে। শুধু একটা জিনিস আমার যেন জানার ইচ্ছে করে, যে কেন এই নতুন সিস্টেমে এত বেনিফিট দেওয়া হচ্ছে, ওল্ড সিস্টেমটাকে মোটামুটি ঠিক রাখা হচ্ছে, নতুন সিস্টেমে কেন বেশি বেনিফিট দেওয়া হচ্ছে? এরকম কি মনে হয় যে আমাদের সরকারের এটা ইচ্ছা যে আমরা এইসব পোস্ট অফিসে, এলআইসিতে, এইসব জায়গায় আমরা টাকা পয়সা না রাখি, আমরা সব টাকা শেয়ার বাজারে খাটাই, এরকম একটা চিন্তা ভাবনা কি সরকারের মাথায় আছে? তা না হলে কেন এই নতুন সিস্টেমটা চালু হলো, এবং নতুন সিস্টেমটা সবসময় যেন কিছু কিছু বেনিফিট দেওয়া হচ্ছে, ওল্ড সিস্টেমে দেওয়া হচ্ছে না? এটাই আমার একটা অনেক আমার এরকম ধারণা। যারা এক্সপার্ট তাদের ধারণা অন্য হতে পারে।
না, মানে what you are saying is absolutely right. But if you are basically, if you are technically, if you wish to wipe out 80C, that means all the small savings are going up. Because if I invest in the post office, it was under 80C. If you wish, say 10 or 15 years back, you used to purchase NSC, we used to purchase KVP, Kishan Vikash Patro, but now no one is interested. So I think that is a very bad way things are coming, that the small savings will be hugely hard, the small savings, because earlier one we used to invest because I get the tax benefit. Return is not that high, because if the return is high, I would have do it, because that's not important whether I get a tax benefit or not. But return is not that high, so I only invest only so that I get the tax benefit. Now, if I don't get the tax benefit, so definitely what President Sir asked is definitely it will hurt very adversely. And I think this is not a very good statement sent by central government to the people, that you don't go for small investments. I don't know, because what the people will do, whether they should go for these share markets or for mutual funds. So you know that these are highly risky things. So in one way it is right. So things are moving, and things are moving. Basically, we are following the Western countries. If you follow US and the other countries, their tax provision is like that. Exemption deduction concept is not there. Whatever you earn, you got to pay tax on that. And yes, I think Dilip raised his hand. Yes, question?
ইয়েস দিলীপ,
স্যার,
যদি কিছু বলার থাকে বলো দিলীপ।
Come on.
হ্যাঁ,
ইয়েস স্যার, আমার একটাই কথা মনে পড়ছে। বহু বছর আগে আমাদের আইএসআই নরসিংহ রাও এসেছিলেন। অ্যাট দ্যাট টাইম, ওই ইয়ারে আমার যতটুকু মনে আছে, প্রশান্ত চন্দ্র মহলানবিশের শতবর্ষ বা এরকম একটা কিছু ছিল, জন্ম শতবর্ষ। সেখানে অনুষ্ঠানে এসে তিনি প্রথম বলেছিলেন, নিউ এই ইকোনমিক পলিসি যেটা হওয়া উচিত, গভর্নমেন্ট ফর অ্যাডমিনিস্ট্রেশন, নট ফর ইকোনমিক অ্যাক্টিভিটি। এটা হচ্ছে গভর্নমেন্ট অ্যাক্টিভিটি ইন ইকোনমিক অ্যাক্টিভিটিতে মিনিমাইজ করা, আর টেক কেয়ার অফ ওয়াল স্ট্রিট উইল টেক কেয়ার অফ এভরিথিং। দ্যাট প্রপোজিশন, সেইটা অ্যাকচুয়ালি প্রিভেল করছে। সেটা হচ্ছে যে গভর্নমেন্ট কোনো ফোর্সফুলি ইনভেস্ট করারও দরকার নেই, সেভিংস করানোর দরকার নেই। যা করবে শেয়ার মার্কেটের টেক কেয়ার করো, গভর্নমেন্ট ইজ টেকিং কেয়ার অফ শেয়ার মার্কেট, এন্ড শেয়ার মার্কেট উইল টেক কেয়ার অফ দ্য হোল সোসাইটি। দিস ইজ দ্য মেন প্রপোজিশন, রাইটলি অর রংলি। আমি যেটা চোখের সামনে পাই সেটা হচ্ছে যে এইটা নিউ রেজিম যখন প্রথম স্টার্ট করা হয়েছে, তার মূল প্রপোজিশনটাই স্যার কারেক্টলি বলেছেন, যে কোন রকমের গভর্নমেন্ট ফোর্সফুলি সেভ করার কথা বলবে না, ইনভেস্টমেন্ট বাড়ানোর কথা বলবে না। ইনফ্যাক্ট গভর্নমেন্ট নিজের থেকে করবে না এগুলো, কেন পিপুলকে ফিক্সড রিটার্ন দেওয়ার দায়িত্ব গভর্নমেন্ট কেন নিচ্ছে? রাদার যদি পুরোটাই ফান্ডটা আসে, ক্যাপিটাল মার্কেটটা স্ট্রং হবে, সকলেই সেখানে আসবে, রিস্কি, ভোলাটাইল, এক্সপোজ, অল দিস থিংস আর ট্রু, কিন্তু ওই মিডল পার্ট অফ দ্য সোসাইটি ইজ নো লঙ্গার দে রিকোয়ার্ড, এরকম একটা প্রপোজিশন আছে। দ্যাটস ওয়াই যে রিস্ক নিতে পারবে সে উপরে উঠবে, যে পারবে না সে একদম নিচে যাবে। দিস ইজ দ্য মেন ফিলসফি বিহাইন্ড ইট।
কিন্তু কি
হ্যাঁ,
হয়,
এটা স্যার এটা ওয়েস্টার্ন বললেন, অ্যাকচুয়ালি এটা আমেরিকাতেও এখন আর চলছে না। হ্যাঁ, যখন ক্যাপিটালের প্রয়োজন ছিল, ক্যাপিটালকে খাটানোর প্রয়োজন ছিল, সেখানেও ট্যাক্স রেজিম যদি দেখেন, কর্পোরেট ট্যাক্স রেট কম্পেয়ার করলেই পাবেন স্যার, আমাদের মানে ইন্ডিয়া ছাড়া এত লো ট্যাক্স রেট মানে ফর কর্পোরেট ওয়ার্ল্ড, এটা কোনো ওয়েস্টার্ন ওয়ার্ল্ডে নেই, নাইদার ইন ইউরোপ নর ইন আমেরিকা। এত লো ট্যাক্স রেট ফর কর্পোরেট ওয়ার্ল্ড। এই সিম্পল একটা জাস্ট রিসেন্ট পার্টটা দেখলেই দেখবেন যে আমাদের লো ট্যাক্স রেটটা এমন রেঞ্জে আছে ফর কর্পোরেট ওয়ার্ল্ড। সেটা দেখুন যে সেকেন্ড হাইয়েস্ট ইন্ডিভিজুয়াল ওয়েলথ হিসাবে যিনি উঠে এসেছিলেন ইন্ডিয়ান, তিনি কিন্তু প্রথম 15 জন ট্যাক্স পেয়ারের মধ্যে নেই, প্রথম 15 জন ট্যাক্স পেয়ারের মধ্যে নেই, অথচ ইন্ডিয়ার প্রথম 15 জনের মধ্যে নেই, অথচ ওয়ার্ল্ডে তিনি সেকেন্ড হাইয়েস্টে পৌঁছেছিলেন। তো এই বছর ট্যাক্স ইবিআইটির সাথে কর্পোরেট ওয়ার্ল্ডের একটা আমি পেপার করছিলাম, যে কর্পোরেট ওয়ার্ল্ডে যারা ট্যাক্স পেমেন্ট করেছে, কে কত ট্যাক্স পেমেন্ট করেছে, বিশেষ করে টপ 50 মার্কেট ক্যাপিটালাইজেশনের কোম্পানিগুলো, তাদের ইবিআইটি কত ছিল আর তাদের ট্যাক্স অ্যাকচুয়ালি কত পেমেন্ট হয়েছে ফর দ্য ইয়ার। এই রেশিওটা এতটাই লো স্যার, মানে আনথিঙ্কেবল, just fully exposed for the corporate world. The whole economy is actually for corporate activity, not for middle class, not for the fixed return retired persons. All these things are no longer required. যার ক্যাপিটাল আছে নিয়ে এসো,
Dilip,
এইটার কারণেই।
but I think one small point, I think that individual tax rate টা কিন্তু অনেকটা হাই ছিল, because our মানে maximum marginal rate was, if you consider 30% plus 37% surcharge, more than 5 crore, so it was almost 44.425 like that maximum মানে MMR যেটা বলি আমরা, maximum marginal rate of tax।
এটা মিড 90s অবধি ছিল আমাদের, নো ডাউট মিড 90s অবধি ছিল।
37% এই বছর থেকে চেঞ্জ হচ্ছে, 37% গত বছর অবধি সারচার্জ ছিল। সো যেহেতু আমাদের এফেক্ট হয় না, সো we are not at all concerned about that, but 37% was last year. This year they have taken away this 37% and it is up to 25%. So definitely that will help this মানে HNI group, যারা মানে হাই ওয়েলদি গ্রুপ। I agree with you, আমি তো প্রথমেই সেটা বললাম, but the problem is, to me, the problem has to be viewed from both micro and macro. In case of micro, what happened? If I'm to pay tax lower, I'll be very happy. I'm not at all concerned, Baba, whatever happened. I'm last year I paid tax. I'm giving an example. I paid tax 1,37,000. This year I'm paying tax 1,10,000. I'm happy. Basically, the things are like that. So you are given, which is in Bangla called top. You are giving a top to the person. Look, I'm reducing your personal taxes by a small bit. So no one, I think the very few people are think of the macro impact. Everyone is thinking of the micro impact. How it impacted me. Does it impact it positively or negatively? If it is impacted positively me, I'm very happy. Even if it impacted adversely on the macro my system. So this is the way. What you said is absolutely right. The way the government is moving is definitely all the small savings will go off. I don't know what will happen. Post office, etc., what will happen to those? Acha, any question? If you do have any specific question, you can raise it, please. Otherwise, now it is left to these.
Any question? Is there any question? Specific question from anyone? Okay, I think Uttam, have you any comment? Uttam, are you here?
That means two things. Either I'm going off over the head.
No.
or
নো 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 নো, আমি এই যে আর সত্যি কথা বলতে কি সেশনটা কতটা যে ইফেক্টিভ, এই যে দিলীপ এত সুন্দর করে সেটা যোগ করলো, সেটা আমাদের কিছুটা তো ওটা কতটা সুন্দরভাবে সেটা শুনেছে এবং সেই সঙ্গে সে নিজের কিছু পয়েন্ট দিয়ে যেভাবে সমৃদ্ধ করলো এই আলোচনাগুলো এইভাবে, এটা সত্যি কথা বলতে কি আমি এই অ্যাসোসিয়েশনের প্রেসিডেন্ট হলেও আমার মাথা থেকে এটা বেরায়নি। এই যে আমাদের খুব কম বয়সী ছেলেরা, অনেক কম বয়স আমার তুলনায়, এই আমাদের লামা টামা এরা এই যে নতুন চিন্তা ভাবনাগুলো করছে, ওদেরকে যে কিভাবে ধন্যবাদ জানাবো আমি জানি না। যাই হোক, আমি এখন প্রফেসর লামাকে বলবো যে তোমাদের একটা ভোট অফ থ্যাঙ্কস যদি থাকে, কে কে দেবে সেটা দিয়ে আজকে সেশন শেষ করো। প্রফেসর লামা।
আচ্ছা, থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ স্যার।
হুম হুম
আচ্ছা, তার আগে জাস্ট ভোট অফ থ্যাঙ্কস দেওয়ার আগে স্যার একটু ইনফরমেশন দিতে চাইছি, উইথ ইয়ার পারমিশন, কাইন্ড পারমিশন স্যার, যে আমাদের টক অফ দ্য মান্থ সিরিজ যে নাম্বার 1 আজকে ফিনান্স বিলে হলো, আমরা চেষ্টা করছি স্যার এভরি মান্থ দুটো ডেটে আমাদের টক অফ দ্য মান্থটা হোক। একটা হলো
না না,
4th,
দুটো দুটো ডেট করলে একই বিষয় করতে হবে,
না
মানে তো
একই
টক অফ
বিষয়,
দি টক অফ দি
একই
মান্থ একটাই হোক।
একটাই হোক। তো
হ্যাঁ
ওই স্যার ওই লেটেস্ট রিসেন্ট ট্রেন্ডস এর উপরে বা মাল্টি ডিসিপ্লিনারি যে অ্যাপ্রোচ গুলো আসে, আপডেটস গুলো, সেইগুলো তার উপরেই স্যার আমরা টক অফ দ্য মান্থটা করার চেষ্টা
হ্যাঁ,
করি।
ও মাসে এসে যাবে কোনো একটা বিষয়, সেই বিষয়টা তখন ধরে নেওয়া হবে।
হ্যাঁ, ওইটাই চেষ্টা করছি স্যার।
হুম।
আর আরেকটা জিনিস স্যার জানিয়ে দিতে চাইছি, কালকে থেকে আমাদের ছাত্ররা, যারা অ্যানুয়াল মেম্বারদের ছাত্ররা আছে, তাদের জন্য আমাদের সোসাইটি একটা 1 উইকের একটা চেষ্টা করেছেন। আমাদের যে ফ্যাকাল্টি মেম্বার্সরা আছে তারা ক্লাস নেবেন, লেকচার সিরিজ অন এনটিএ, ন্যাশনাল টেস্টিং এজেন্সি, ইউজিসি নেট। সেখানে 17 স্টুডেন্টস হ্যাভ রেজিস্টার্ড, as well as February 14, 15, 16 এ আমাদের ফ্যাকাল্টি এক্সচেঞ্জ প্রোগ্রাম হচ্ছে on with our Nagaon College, Autonomous, Assam. Three resource persons has been selected from our annual members from our society. So exchange program আমাদের হচ্ছে sir 14, 15, 16, and now I'm just giving the charge to Lopamudra to vote of thanks. Thank you very much sir, thanks to all of us.
হ্যাঁ, ঠিক
Lopamudra,
আছে।
Lopamudra বলো।
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I would like to thank Subhayan sir for this wonderful session. We have learned so much from his session and whatever he discussed with us today. We will be forever indebted to you for this session that you took. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for
ঠিক আছে,
listening me.
শুভায়ন, খুব ভালো লাগলো আজকের আলোচনা। দিলীপ যেভাবে অ্যাড করলো সেটাও খুব ভালো লেগেছে। আর আমরা 27-28 জন 30 জন আমরা প্রায় এখানে উপস্থিত ছিলাম। এভাবেই তোমাদের মানে অংশগ্রহণের ফলে আমরাও উপকৃত হচ্ছি। আর এই সোসাইটি একটা চিরদিন একটা কাজের মধ্যে দীর্ঘদিন ধরে আছে এবং এ থাকবে, এটা আমরা আশা রাখছি। এই বলে সবাইকে শুভরাত্রি জানাই। সবাইকে শুভরাত্রি জানাই, সবাই ভালো থেকো। ওকে, গুড নাইট টু আওয়ার রিসোর্স
Good
পারসন
night
অ্যান্ড
to all.
গুড নাইট।